summarise the main elements of our open water session, starting with your body position. Always make sure that you have a horizontal body position in the water. The lower your legs are, the more drag you're going to be creating for yourself. So the more horizontal you can get your body, the easier it will be and the faster you will be in the water. Make sure that you always stay on the axis that goes from your head right down to your feet and keep on rotating and rolling throughout. If you suffer from having low legs in the water, think of your body as a seesaw. Lean forward slightly more with the upper body, putting it a bit deeper in the water, and this will help lift the legs up, maintaining a horizontal body position without having to kick extra hard. Moving on to your legs now. The legs are not used as much as the arms in open water swimming and are there mainly to balance out the movements of the upper body rather than propel you forward. If it's speed you're going for, then yes, you should be kicking the legs quite a lot. However, if it is just getting across that you're looking for and trying to make things easier, then I recommend that you lay off the legs and concentrate more on the upper body, as 90% of the propulsion is generated from the movements of the arms and the upper body as opposed to the legs. Make sure that the legs still kick a little bit though, as it is vital to balance out the movements of the arms and the rolling of the upper body. An effective leg kick should be generated more from the hip and less from the knee. The legs should not be kicking huge amounts in the lower part whatsoever. However, the foot should be loose and floppy enough to just meet the surface of the water before it presses down. It's having a loose and floppy foot that will generate small amounts of propulsion for you and will keep the body balanced. 90% of the propulsion that you will generate is in the upper body, so the arms are very, very important. Make sure that you have long, effective strokes, making the most of every inch that is available to you. When you first put an arm into the water, make sure that the hand enters at about 2/3 of a full extension rather than too close to your head. Once it first enters the water, make sure that it extends forward until the elbow locks. However, don't stretch too hard, otherwise you will experience pain in your shoulder. Then start to let the arm drop naturally before catching the water by bending the elbow. Then you must have a final push towards the hip until the elbow locks behind you and the arm is once again straight. Keep this process going and you will have a very long, effective stroke. Everything over the water is your recovery time, so don't put huge amounts of energy in when your arms are over the water. Save this energy for when they are under the water, when it really counts. The movements above the water are purely resetting the mechanism that moves you forward, which only works if your fingers and your hands are pressing back against the water towards your hips at all times. So try and focus not on pressing down to keep your body up, but on pressing back to move your body forward. Symmetry is a vital element in swimming in order to maintain a balanced and efficient body position. Think of a centre line right down the middle of your body. Make sure that your right arm always stays on the right side of the centre line and your left arm always on the left side of the centre line. If you do this, you will maintain balance throughout the stroke. It is when you cross over the centre line that you will create extra work for yourself and force your body off balance. People often ask me what is the correct way to breathe. The answer is do what is comfortable to you. Bilateral breathing is a fantastic method for keeping balance throughout, however it is not the only way, so do what you are comfortable with. If you can pull off bilateral breathing, it will give you a very balanced and even stroke, but do not obsess over it if you find it difficult. The main things to remember to make sure that you keep the oxygen flow moving through your body all the time. Think of the oxygen as the fuel that your body needs in order to keep going all the time, rather than stopping and starting and tiring itself out. So make sure that you breathe out fully before taking your next breath so that you can make the space in your lungs ready to take that next deep breath. It is up to you whether you do trickle breathing or explosive breathing. Trickle breathing would be where you're rationing the airflow in the water, breathing out at a steady pace before turning to breathe in. Explosive breathing is where you would hold your breath in the water and blow out right towards the end of the stroke before turning to take your next breath. Both of these methods are correct, and as with many things in swimming, it is up to your personal preference which one is for you. The main rule to remember is to let go of any excess air that is in your lungs before turning to take your next breath. It is vital that you make the space in your lungs ready for that next breath in order to keep your body moving at its full potential. Body, legs, arms and breathing work very well on their own, but it is vital that you use the fifth element, which is timing, in order to put these movements together to their full potential. Timing is crucial for maintaining balance, stability and momentum within your stroke, so make sure that when you put an arm into the water, as the hand first enters, it does not shoot forward faster than it has been recovering for the rest of the time in the recovery phase. It would be much more effective in open water swimming to maintain a smooth and effective stroke over the water. Remember, everything over the water is your recovery when it comes to the arms. It is under the water that will propel you forward, so make sure that you're not putting any effort into making the hand move extra fast above the water, as this would break these rules of timing. When you want to take a breath, follow the movements of the hand. As the hand moves back underneath you, without looking directly at it, you can time your breaths perfectly with the motions of the body roll and the arms. Do this and the breathing will fit in perfectly without breaking any of the other elements of the stroke. One of the main elements that makes swimming outdoors in lakes so different to swimming indoors in swimming pools is that you can't see where you're going just by breathing to the side. Therefore, it is essential that you learn how to sight effectively, i.e. how to lift your head forward without breaking the stroke. Going into breaststroke and looking around does not count. You need to learn to look forward without having any negative implications on the rest of the front crawl stroke. To do this, as your arm enters the water and starts to press down, lift your eyes just clear of the water so you can get a view forward, and then put your head back into the water at the same time as the other arm starts to enter the water. This way you will not break the stroke at any time. Make sure that you do not lift your whole head clear of the water. It is vital that just the eyes clear the water, otherwise your legs will begin to drop, as if you lift the body too high, your centre of gravity will change. This is what I mean by trying to make sure that you do not break any elements of the stroke when you lift your head to see where you're going. Combine all of the elements that we've spoken about on this DVD and you will have a faster, more effective and easier stroke which is ideally tailored for open water swimming.